Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Mark Keller. We're glad you're with us today. It's the Valentine's Day edition of Inside Sports this week. We were going to decorate the set in hearts and cupids, maybe sprinkle some rose petals here on the tables, put on a jacket and tie, and really dress to impress. But we've always wanted the show to be about you, so we're going to make you put in the effort for Valentine's Day. It's up to you to prepare that dinner and set a nice table, light a couple of candles, enjoy a quiet meal, while we provide the dulcet tones of the Herald Mail Insiders to help set the mood. Kevin Dunleavy is here to talk boys basketball and help sort out the logjam behind Linganore in the Class 3A West standings. Then Bob Parcelletti joins me to discuss girls basketball, where we'll take a look at what's happening at some of the smaller schools in Washington County. And finally, Dan Kaufman returns with a preview of the Maryland Indoor Track Championships, which will take place next Monday and Tuesday, and let us know who has a chance to bring home the gold. So find the matches, pull the shades, and feel the love. Kevin Dunleavy starts us off when Inside Sports returns right after this.
Cynthia Muller-Sullivan of Sullivan Select Real Estate has been recognized by Homelight in 3 categories: Top Overall Producer, Top Seller's Agent, and Top Agent that Sells for More. Unlike other real estate venues, agents cannot pay to be recognized by Homelight. If you are considering the sale of your home, call Cynthia for a free market analysis, 301-988-5115. When it comes to real estate, select the best with Sullivan Select.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meritus Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meritus Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meritushealth.com/urgent care.
Welcome back to Inside Sports, starting things off today with boys basketball. Herald Mail insider Kevin Dunleavy joins me. Kevin, let's start out by talking about Class 3A West, the Region 2 bracket. Linganore has sort of separated themselves. They pretty much have the top seed locked up, but behind them, it's anybody's ball game right now, and you've got North and South Hagerstown both in that mix.
Yeah, Tuscarora and Frederick are the other 2 teams, and entering this week, they all had 7 losses in the region standings. So, I mean, you could easily go from 2 to 5 based on one night's results. And it's important because 4 and 5 are going to have to play each other in a very competitive game, and then 4 and 5 would then have to play Linganore. So, I mean, 2 and 3 are going to be really important. Those are the spots you want to be in. You get a first round bye while 4 and 5 play, and that's your best path to get those spots. South right now is the hottest team of the 4, and things are really looking up for them with their young backcourt really gelling and becoming a factor and learning how to play together.
And certainly one of the things that could determine some of the seedings here is on Friday, and that's North taking on Tuscarora.
Yeah, and there's several other matchups too. On Tuesday night, South played Tuscarora, so a lot of games are involving each other because they play in the same division, CMC Spires, and so they've got 2 games against each other each year. So a lot of head-to-head stuff to decide it, which is the best way you want it. And I don't think anybody fears Linganore. They're undefeated in the CMC Spires, but a lot of their games have been close. And in the past, they haven't been that good in the playoffs. You know, they've had incredible records in the regular season. North beat them 2 years ago on their home floor, and then two years before that, Tuscarora beat them on Linganore's home floor. So they're not a daunting team at all. They're very well coached. They're very disciplined, but talent-wise, a lot of teams can match up with them.
And I guess there's still the possibility. We've seen it in the past where we've had a North and South matchup in the playoffs as well. Could happen here again this year as well.
Yeah, if they get 2 and 3 right now, South is in the 2 spot, but only by half a game, so it'll really be determined in the next couple weeks.
Okay, let's go to from the big schools here in the county to the small schools in Hancock, and Reese McLean really kind of coming on here of late over the last 4 games, really turned on the scoring for the Panthers.
Yeah, he's had a kind of a wild career. He was a sophomore and really talented kid who played well for a team that finished 3-19. So he didn't come back the following year. He's more of a football player, and then this year he transferred to play football at Clarksburg, but he came back in December to Hancock and got off to kind of a slow start. He hadn't scored in double figures for like his first 8 games, and then all of a sudden Charlie Plummer, their center, got a concussion, and he got a little more playing time, McLean did, and he's really risen. He's averaged 19 points and 6 rebounds his last 4 games, and Hancock has won 3 of those games. He's a real talented kid. It's not like this came out of nowhere, but his role has had to been increased with the injury to Plummer, who will be back this week. It's not a serious concussion, but he's very talented, and they're a real perimeter team with Justice Allen, the county's top scorer, and Brady Souders. 3 really good guards that give them a lot of flexibility.
And we haven't really talked much about Hancock this season, but they've kind of sneakily moved into the number 2 spot in that region, 1A West Region 2, and didn't expect to see that.
Yeah, well, in the past they've been in the region with Allegheny and Fort Hill and those teams, and traditionally there's been a couple of really good teams out there, and they've really struggled. It's been a long time since they've won in the playoffs, but this is wide open. This is very doable. The whole region, Catoctin will probably be the top seed, and the bottom seed right now, Smithsburg, and they've come within 3 points of Catoctin twice. So, anybody can win this region, and Hancock has as much claim to dreaming about winning this thing as anybody.
Let's go over to the private schools now, and had the matchup Monday night of Goretti and St. James, and Goretti won this one going away, and all of a sudden Goretti's one of the hotter teams in Washington County right now.
Yeah, they've won 3 in a row. They're 13-16, and that's with a 10-game losing streak. They might have had a longer winning streak recently if Briggs McLean didn't get the flu, and they lost 2 games on one weekend. Briggs McLean has been fantastic for him. Last night he had 26 points by the end of the 3rd quarter. They were so far in front that he took off the 4th quarter, and they brought in a kid who's a manager for the team. His former player, he used to play JV, Kwabena Akufu, and it was senior night. He's a senior. And he got in and scored a point, so it was a real good feel-good night for them. Everything went right for Goretti, and they're looking up. They could be really dangerous in the playoffs now. They're going to have to play a tough team in the first round, probably Mount St. Joe or St. Francis, but I think they feel like they've found something, and they're discovering what they do best. And
not the win over St. James, not the only win they had. They beat Martinsburg, one of the better public school teams here in the area, on Saturday.
Yeah, only 2 losses for Martinsburg. Probably the best team if Hedgesville isn't, probably the best team in the Panhandle. And Briggs McLean did it again. He had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and Rogers. His first name is escaping me, I'm sorry right now. He had 17 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. He's been a big key for him as well. And, 6'8" guy who's really versatile.
And real quick, closing out here, Heritage Academy, tough loss to Cumberland Valley Christian School here recently. And Heritage still with a shot, but they might have a tough road coming through the MDCC playoffs.
Yeah, they had an 8-point lead in the 4th quarter, and just had some bad turnovers, and they only hit 6 of 18 free throws against CVCS. And it was right there for them to be the top seed and win the regular season title, but they want to get another shot. Now they're probably going to have to beat Shalom in order to get a shot at CVCS, but they're a veteran team, and if they get that shot, I wouldn't discount the likelihood of them winning.
Okay. Kevin, as always, thanks a bunch. Stay with us. Bob Parcelletti's up next to talk girls basketball.
Hello, my name is Jim Gross, and I'm very involved in our local sports community, as you may have seen me on the volleyball court, the wrestling mat, or the softball field officiating sports. I'm also the broker and owner of Absolute Real Estate, as I've been making it easy for over 20 years in Washington County for people to buy and sell homes. Call me, Jim Gross, at 301-788-7888 for absolutely the best in savings and service, and ask me about my sports organization donation program.
Access to high-speed internet is critical for school-aged children. Since 2014, Antietam Broadband and Washington County Public Schools have partnered to connect students and families in need with low-cost, high-speed internet service at home. Every child deserves an opportunity to succeed. Ask your child's teacher for more information on the Antietam EduNet program. A message from Washington County Public Schools and Antietam Broadband.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Herald Mail insider Bob Parcelletti joins me now for some girls basketball talk. And Bob, the Hancock girls had senior night last week against Grace Academy, and only one player recognized for Hancock, and that was Chloe Stotler. But she's really been, as you've said before, kind of the rock of that team this year.
Well, it was kind of funny because she was the only senior on both teams combined. But she is the steady player. Coach Todd Rupenthal is all about her. He's really impressed with how hard she works, and all the girls, there's only 8 girls on the team, but they all really buy in. They play very well together, and she's like the trigger. I mean, she takes the ball out of bounds on the inbound passes all the time, starts the play. One time I saw her against Clear Spring, she took it out of bounds on the side, passed it in, ball got passed around, she stood underneath the basket, got a layup. So, I mean, she just kind of snuck around and got through there. And this was a game where it was senior night, and she didn't look like she was shooting that well, and she ended up with 19 points, and it was so quiet. And, the other girls were kicking in and helping. She got 4 3-pointers out of Sarah Dahl, and Laura Golden was doing a great job on the point, and she just kind of melted in there and did her job. And it was more than I even, realized until after the game.
So you mentioned Coach Todd Rupenthal and how he's impressed with her, but that goes beyond just on the court as well. He talked about kind of her extracurricular as well.
He says that he got a little teary talking about it, and he was talking about how hard she works, and then on the weekends she goes and works a 12-hour job on Saturday and Sunday to make enough money to get by too. So I mean, she does the work on the days off, and then comes in because she really loves basketball. She told me after the game when I asked her what she thought about senior night, and she says it's bittersweet. She goes, I love this floor, I love the coaches, and I love my teammates. So she's she's not having a hard time dealing with it, but it hit her.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point where she had trouble making shots because she was thinking about it, she said.
It was a 60-45 win for Hancock over Grace Academy, and you sort of alluded to the fact that she was the only senior on the floor, and that kind of leads us into Grace Academy. No seniors or juniors on this team. Started 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores in this game.
And when the game started, it looked like it. I mean, they were down 11-0 before they scored. It took them 5.5 minutes to get points on the board, and it was a girl by the name of Miley Snyder, who's a freshman. And she and Olivia Myers were just great in this game for them. Myers hit 5 threes to keep them in there, and Snyder was driving. She was all over the floor, and there was a couple other girls that played well too, but those 2 stuck out, and they scored 31 of the 45 points that they had. And afterwards, I talked to the coach, Dr. Sean Buckner, and he was saying that Snyder is their playmaker, and she's the one, and she's going to probably get a shot to play a little bit in the Round Ball Classic coming up here.
Okay. Well, let's go to the big game we talked about last week between the kind of private school powers here in Washington County, St. James and St. Maria Goretti, and St. James winning that 64-49. And it really came down to that starting 5 of the Saints sort of taking control of that one.
Well, when we talked about it last week, I thought that if one of those girls could get in trouble, because there's not really a lot of depth on the bench for St. James, that Goretti could have a shot because they have more coming off the bench to help if they're in the situation. But they got the play from the 3 of the girls, Skylar Treadwell and Morgan Mosley and Morgan McMahon, Gabby Grantham Medley. They all scored double figures. Morgan Mosley, she's kind of a combo shooting point guard type thing, but she attacks the basket a lot, and that kind of opens things up. And then they have an unsung hero now this year is a freshman by the name of Deja Hamilton. And she's been playing some point. The one game I saw, she's another one of those that really pushed the ball up the floor for them. And the key to St. James, is as Coach Nate Naylor says, is their speed, because a lot of teams around here don't see teams play as fast as they do.
Yeah, it kind of came down to that, the experience and the speed of St. James, and it seemed like Goretti just wasn't able to match that.
Well, I think the big thing that happened with Goretti is St. James somehow took Kyria Stubbs out of there. She's their leading scorer. I mean, both these teams don't have a score that's really, blowing the lid off of it. They're both all around between, their leading scorers are between 10 to 15 points a game. And Stubbs is leading them with a little over 13 points a game, and they held her to 7. So that's only 6 points, but still, it takes her out of the ball game and keeps her from doing the things she does.
Let's look at South Hagerstown. It's a team we haven't really talked much about. They got their first win of the season last Friday in beating Clear Spring 1-14 through Tuesday. And they have a first-year coach there, in Matt Faircloth, and he's sort of trying to change things up over there at South Hagerstown.
He's on every front for them. I mean, he's an assistant basketball coach. He's going to be an assistant baseball coach too, and now he's the girls' basketball coach. So he's making sure if anybody's going to try to help the culture there, it sounds like he's going to be a good part of it, because he's in there for everybody. But that was the idea, that kind of come in and try to get them to start playing a little more aggressively and play to their talents a little bit. And sometimes it's just kind of hard to do it, to get it going. It takes time. Not only are you dealing with girls that have done it for a couple of years in different ways, to learn over again, but they've been competitive in some games. This one, they just happened to get over the hump finally. But man, wins are hard to come by out there.
Well, one team that hasn't had trouble is Smithsburg getting wins, although they are coming through that kind of second run through the gauntlet. They play Friday against Middletown.
Well, there's these 4 teams from Frederick County, and they're the test. And that's Middletown, who's got a player that's going to be going to UConn, and Saylor Poffenbarger. They got Oakdale, who's second and has only got 2 losses, and they're both to Middletown. And there's Walkersville, who's usually pretty good, and Catoctin's playing very well. Now, the first 3 are all double A teams, 2A teams. So that's teams that Smithsburg's not going to play in the playoffs, but they're good for having some experience to play in against, to learn some things. But Catoctin's the one that's bothering them, because they've already lost to them twice, which means they're going to have to play probably, if they get to the championship game, on the road, and if they do, it's going to be at Catoctin. So to get back to the state tournament, they're going to have to go through Thurmont this year, it looks like.
Okay. Bob Parsletti, thanks a bunch. Stay with us. Dan Kaufman's up next to talk indoor track.
Cynthia Moeller-Sullivan of Sullivan Select Real Estate has been recognized by Homelight in 3 categories: top overall producer, top seller's agent, and top agent that sells for more. Unlike other real estate venues, agents cannot pay to be recognized by Homelight. If you are considering the sale of your home, call Cynthia for a free market analysis, 301-988-5115. When it comes to real estate, select the best with Sullivan Select.
Introducing Antietam Smart Wi-Fi, the ultimate home networking solution. Smart Wi-Fi expands your wireless network and can eliminate Wi-Fi dead zones. Adding Smart Wi-Fi access points creates a Wi-Fi blanket for all of your devices, so you get consistent wireless internet speeds anywhere in your house. So go ahead and browse, game, and stream video in any room. Make the most of your internet with Smart Wi-Fi from Antietam Broadband. Smart homes deserve smart Wi-Fi.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Herald Mail insider Dan Kaufman joins us now. We've reached the pinnacle of indoor track season, the Maryland State Indoor Championships being held Monday and Tuesday. Class 1A and 2A on Monday. 3A, 4A meet is on Tuesday down at the PG County Sportsplex. Dan, going to run down the list of some names you've given us here and just let us know about their prospects here for the state titles. We'll start with 1A boys and Cameron Rajanis from Smithsburg in the 500.
Yeah, sensational freshman season coming to a close here. His coach was real high on him at the beginning of the season, and he's backed up his coach's words with some really good performances. In the 500, he's run in the low 110s. He's about 2 seconds, maybe a little less than 2 seconds off the lead time in the 500 going into the event, but he's certainly got a chance. It's within the realm of possibility, and I think his PR is waiting to be set. I think he can go lower, especially on the fast track at PG. He's also going to score points in the 800. You could consider his 800 maybe even his better event. It's close, but Anthony Hall of Largo is a prohibitive favorite in the 800. So the 500 is really the one to watch to see if he can strike some gold.
Well, he has another chance as well, possibly as part of the boys 4x800 relay team as well.
Absolutely. They are the favorites going into that event. They have a pretty sizable gap on second place as far as performances go. Now, on Tuesday night after we tape this, the 1A Central meet is being held, so that has not happened yet. We'll see what times emerge from there. But the team of Rajanis, Eli Gnodal, Andrew Wyndham, and Liam Fisher have run very well this year. I suspect they will be the four going at it in the 4x8, and it could get Smithsburg off to a really good start.
Okay, let's talk about some of the cross-country stars that we talked about during the fall a lot. We've been talking about them here during the winter season as well, 1A girls, and Daly Yonker from Smithsburg.
Yeah, another big favorite in the 3200 where she's got a 12-second lead on second place right now as far as season best times posted. So certainly going into that event feeling strong. Before that event, she's going to wind up running the 1600. She's kind of tied for second in that event, but Michelle Sincata of Brunswick is a pretty dominant favorite in that event. It's about a 9-second gap that I believe she has on the field. That's going to be tough for Daly to overcome there. She'll probably want to save something and go at the 3200 pretty hard. But we'll see. You know, you get the adrenaline going at States, and you know, things happen that you don't expect. So maybe she'll make a run at the 1600 too. We'll see.
I always say you have somebody that's pushing you, that pushes you to faster times as well. Let's go to 2A boys and another one of those cross-country stars from Williamsport, Iggy Chalker.
Yeah, and in the 3200, again, he's a decisive favorite. Not quite as big a favorite as Daly Yonker is going to be in the girls' 3200, but he's got about a 5-second lead as far as season best go in the 3200. He's run a 9:38 this year, which is very solid. 3 other kids in 2A boys have run under 10 minutes, so it'll be competitive. We'll see. My suspicion is that Iggy's going to try to push the pace and drop everybody else before it gets to the kick. But he's a grinder, so even if he comes down to the final lap, the kid's tough as nails. So he's going to have a chance no matter how that race unfolds. But my suspicion is he's going to try to push the pace and end it early.
So all we've talked so far is about running events. We've got a couple field events now here as we switch to 2A girls. Nia Brown from Boonesboro in the high jump.
She's got an outside chance. She's cleared 5'1" this season, and anytime you're clearing 5 feet and up, you have a chance at these state meets. 3 other girls in the competition have cleared 5'4", so you know, they'll either take Nia kind of raising the bar for herself a couple inches, or some of these other girls having missteps. Both of those things happen quite often at state meets. High jump is a pretty volatile event. So, you know, we'll see what happens. She's in with a shot.
And then in the pole vault, you have Hannah Mace from Williamsport.
And even more of a volatile event. In the pole vault, absolutely anything can happen. You can see favorites go in, like so say they have an 11-foot top jump and missed their first attempt, missed all 3 attempts at their first height. I mean, strange things happen. She's at 10 feet this year. 2 girls ahead of her who have cleared 10.9 this season, so they'll need to slip up, or Hannah Mace will need to improve on her 10-foot effort. But again, you know, in with a shot, and we'll take our best shot and see what happens.
Let's go to 3A boys and what might be one of the most fun events we've had all season, and looks to be here as well, and that's the 55.
Yeah, it's going to be the highlight. The 3A boys 55 is going to be the highlight, quite possibly, of all the state meets, all the classes. This race is absolutely loaded. This is the strongest season Washington County has ever had, because we've got 3 kids in Khalil Booker and Prince Proctor of South Hagerstown who have both run lower 55 times this season than anybody in Washington County ever has. And then we've got Devin Napier at North, who beat both of them in the county meet to win a surprise gold there. They all typically run in the low to mid 6.5 range. Booker has run 6.32 to set the county record, and Prince Proctor has run 6.42 at the region meet. But those were outliers. That they've both been more around that 6.53, 6.54 range, and that's where about 4 others in the state all land, including Napier. So we could wind up having a final heat with 6 or 7 guys hitting that line all within split seconds of each other. It's going to be a thrilling race. And, you know, South has some designs on a team title, and they're going to need, you know, Booker and Proctor to each probably finish top 3 if they're going to have a shot at pulling a surprise team title out. So that's what they're going to be gunning for.
Well, those two could be part of the 4x200 relay as well, and Charlie Hostin for South in the high jump as well.
Yeah, he got healthy. Apparently, he had some back issues earlier in the season, and his season best was 6'1" going into the CMC championships, and then he jumped 6'6" at the CMCs and 6'9" at the region meet. So that is the best jump in Class 3A this season. His main competition is going to come from Anthony Smith of Huntingtown, who has cleared 6'8" this season. It's kind of a two-man race for that high jump gold, assuming they both perform up to expectations. Nobody else has cleared higher than 6'3" this season. So again, it should be a thrilling finish if those two kids do what they do. It's going to be interesting to watch at the end.
And then real quick to close out 3A girls, we have 3 girls from North Hagerstown with a shot.
Yeah, Mary Claire Anderson in the 800, she ran a really solid 2:24 at regions. The top seed's around 2:22, so that's, again, within range that if Anderson takes a couple more seconds off her time, or if the other girl slips up a little bit, who knows what can happen. Cozy Nkwanta in the shot put, she's thrown just under 37 feet. That's about 2 feet behind the top seed, but again, in with a chance. And Brianna Smith of North has cleared 5'1" in the high jump this season, and the top 3 have all cleared 5'2", so that'll be another really close competition. A lot of county kids that we've discussed that have chance to bring home state gold, they're clearly they aren't all going to win. That never happens. But a lot of them, I think it's going to be a good day for the county. I think we're going to see 5, 6, 7 champions.
Okay, we'll have Dan back to wrap us up after the event is over with. Dan, thanks for being here today. Stay with us. We'll wrap up this show right after this.
Introducing Antietam Smart Wi-Fi, the ultimate home networking solution. Smart Wi-Fi expands your wireless network and can eliminate Wi-Fi dead zones. Adding Smart Wi-Fi access points creates a Wi-Fi blanket for all of your devices, so you get consistent wireless internet speeds anywhere in your house. So go ahead and browse, game, and stream video in any room. Make the most of your internet with Smart Wi-Fi from Antietam Broadband. Smart homes deserve Smart Wi-Fi.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meritus Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meritus Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meritushelp.com/urgent care.
Hello, my name is Jim Gross, and I'm very involved in our local sports community, as you may have seen me on the volleyball court, the wrestling mat, or the softball field officiating sports. I'm also the broker and owner of Absolute Real Estate, as I've been making it easy for over 20 years in Washington County for people to buy and sell homes. Call me, Jim Gross, at 301-788-7888 for absolutely the best in savings and service, and ask me about my sports organization donation program.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. I wanted to mention a couple other things before we leave you today. The Washington County North Stars moved into the Monocacy Valley Conference title game with a 5-1 win over Frederick on Monday. Graydon Joyce, who scored a hat trick last week in a game broadcast here on WCL-TV, led the offense again with 2 goals and an assist for the North Stars, who improved to 12-2-1 on the season. They faced Urbana in the division final Thursday afternoon in Frederick. Both of the North Stars' losses this season came at the hands of Urbana. We'll fill you in on that game next week. The Maryland Special Olympics Unified Sports Bocce State Tournament was held Monday at Hagerstown Community College, and all 4 of Washington County's representatives fared quite well. Clear Spring won state gold in Division III, and Boonesboro was the champion in Division IV, while Boonesboro and Williamsport each placed second in Divisions I and II, respectively. Congratulations to all the teams who participated in that tournament. We'll have one more basketball broadcast for you this season. On Tuesday, February 18th, it's boys basketball as North Hagerstown goes on the road to face the Boonesboro Warriors. Barry Brown will join me once again for the call. You can see that game on channels 806 and 6. View the live stream on the web by going to www.myactv.net and clicking on the Live Events tab, or by downloading the WCL-TV on the Go app for your mobile phone or tablet. That app is available for iOS or Android operating systems. Don't forget to look us up on social media. On Twitter, we're at Inside Sports OL. On Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, it's at Inside Sports Now. Andy Mason joins us next week to talk about high school wrestling. He'll give us a report on this week's region duels and look ahead to next weekend's county championships. That's all for Inside Sports this week. My thanks to Kevin Dunleavy, Bob Parcelletti, and Dan Kaufman for being here today, and we thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here next week on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get